John 7:31. De turba autem multi crediderunt in eum, et dicebant, Christus cum venerit, numquid plura signa faciet, quamquae hic facit? And from the crowd many believed in him. And they were saying, when the Messiah comes, will he do more miracles than those which this man does? And that is perhaps the first thing we want to do here is a little bit of punctuating. De turba autem multi crediderunt in eum, et dicebant, and here we have a quotation beginning, Christus cum venerit, comma, numquid plura signa, etc. That will help us break things down a little bit better. First thing to notice here is de turba. This is a partitive expression meaning out of or from the crowd, and it goes together with multi. In English, we would say many of them, many of those in the crowd there that day. Now, in Latin, there's a number of different ways to do this, but the expression e or ex turba is much more common, particularly in classical Latin. De turba, in this partitive sense, would be rare and a little bit strange before late antiquity. I don't know, therefore, for certain whether this is simply a late antique usage. It may very well be. Prepositions in particular start to get kind of loosey-goosey in the latter part of the life of the Roman Empire and afterwards, so that wouldn't surprise me. I'm not entirely sure, but e or ex is the more regular expression that you'll encounter in the Latin of all periods. Nevertheless, the meaning is clear. From the crowd, many crediderunt, believed. Now, I'm just going to remind you here, in case it's not clear, credo, credere, credidi, and creditum are our principal parts for this verb. So there's a little bit of reduplication there that happens in the third principal part, which accounts for the somewhat squirrely looking form here, or at least it'll look squirrely to you if you haven't checked out this verb in some time. Crediderunt. The nice thing is it's pretty unambiguously the perfect system that we're dealing with when we see this reduplicated didi. So that helps us to know what's going on. Crediderunt, they believed in eum, in him, and they were saying, here's a phrase that we have seen before, Christus cum venerit, when the Messiah comes, we would say in English, but we've got a note for the purposes of precision that here we don't have a present tense, but actually a future perfect tense. So literally in Latin, when the Messiah will have come in the future. We're looking forward to the completion of an event in the future and its consequences. But in English, we would just use the present. Confusingly, we would say when the Messiah comes or when Messiah comes. Now, what is going to happen when he comes? Well, there's a question here. Now, numquid is one of the ways that we know there's a question, and this is best left untranslated because it isn't easy to translate directly into English. It indicates a question. Will he do, is our main verb here, faciet, and you've got to be able to notice the difference between faciet and facit, for instance, or faciat, third person singular present subjunctive. Facit, of course, being the present indicative form. Here we've got the simple future third person singular. Will he do plura signa, more signs, more miraculous acts of power? That is, deeds which point beyond themselves to a greater reality. We would say in English simply probably miracles. Will he do more miracles than quam, those, quae, and here that's standing in for signa again, than those signa which hic, this guy, Jesus, is now doing right before our eyes?